Hello, hello. Nice to see you. And look at that amazing Nuxt reaction. Okay, so let's see. So the topic for, at least to start with, is all about automating edge releases. So we do this in, ooh, what are you building? So we do this in Nuxt already. We automate, haha, it would. I'm actually building that as well. Hey, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. But yes, go for it, Darren. And check out, don't worry. I'm just tinkering, like playing around. I have been for a very long time though, as in I've not been progressing on it for a very long time. So the odds are I'll probably not progress on it because there are one or two other things that are sort of occupying my time. But it is something that I did think about. Back in February when I created a talk for AgentConf, all about building a React meta framework on top of Nitro. And actually built quite a full featured one, and then figured I didn't have enough time to do it in the talk, so I basically got rid of all the features, like the routing, the data fetching, all of that. So I thought, I'll release it sometime in the future, and never did. So please go ahead and make it because I think it would be very, very cool. Hey, yes, I am. I'm well. I'm feeling a lot better. I had a bit of a cold, not an actual serious thing or anything, just a sniffle. But yes. So in Nuxt, I don't know if you know this, but basically we have a couple of really nice automations. So one of the automations is that every commit we release the package. We have a build release step that actually bumps the version and then releases an edge release to npm. And when it does that, incidentally, we also have this nice provenance integration. So we actually get the sort of public transparency log that we've published it using a certain workflow, and it sort of adds some security for those edge releases. There are a couple of things though that this is, we set this up for Nuxt and Bridge as well. So Nuxt Bridge also has an edge release. Hey Nick, nice to see you. Also has an edge release thing. So we've basically got the same kind of thing that there's every commit goes out on a separate channel, not exactly the same package. It's a bridge edge. And this is actually something that we would use quite a lot. So Nuxt image could benefit from this. And we're about to open source a new Nuxt package, the Nuxt CLI, and that needs also edge releases. So, Reaper, hi. So basically, it would be quite a useful thing to be able to have a sort of generic edge release tool that understands the version, creates a patch, and is able to release it to npm using provenance or whatever. And then you can just drop it into a project without really needing to configure very much. So that's the idea. I'm thinking that we can probably do this in changelogin. So changelogin already exists. It has a lot of power. So we use it, for example, to generate our changelogs in Nuxt. So we have an automated next version PR that we create in a GitHub action, and the changelog is generated from the commits. And every new commit, like if I were to merge something now, this is then edited by the action, which updates the changelog. And it's a pretty cool thing. So you can sort of always see what the latest changes are going to be when you merge it, like what the actual changelog would be. And then we then use this as the start of any release notes. A couple of things I think we can improve with that. I think we want to mention contributors rather than just linking to their email addresses. That's one of the main things that I have to do manually at the moment. And that is, go on, Reaper. What's so crazy? What's amazing about that? But basically, yeah, I do want to be able to mention people automatically. I actually manually go through and like put people's @ names specifically so when the release comes out, it shows the people who are involved in it, right? Like you want to be able to actually see the contributors rather than just have like an email address in the thing. That means a lot to me. But yes, so changelogin does that. It powers that. And so already you can use it something like, it saves me a huge amount of time, yeah. Check it out and steal it. I'm planning to make it into a standalone GitHub action, but I think someone here is already planning on doing that for changelogin. So we'll see if this moves on that. But basically, yes, we have this very, very simple workflow. It's not complex. This changelogin sets. Super simple. That is literally all it is. And it obviously references an external script, which is scripts and update changelog. And basically, again, it's not complex. Like it specifically just updates the changelog with a few GitHub tokens. And yeah, there we go. Right. But what we are wanting to do is see if we can update this release script. So in Nuxt, we have this, what we do in our, in our CI pipeline is we have the build release, and all it really does is it runs this release edge with provenance and a node auth token. So if we just pull up that release edge, it just iterates over the packages. There's also another step here, which is that when we build, surely we do more than that. Release edge. We also need to, we do bump edge as well. So we have to bump the version. And when we bump the version, we use changelogin. So have I set up the scene? Do we know what we're doing? So basically, the thing that we want to be able to do here, we want to have something like a release script, and I think, do we already have a release? We have a -- release, so that bumps the version, updates the changelog, and makes a git commit and tab. And probably what we want to be able to do something is like a -- edge release. Okay, let's see what we can do. Yeah, all the commands seem to be dear. Yes. That'd be the thing. That's what we're doing. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for, and we do that with our args.release. And that bumps the version, generates the markdown. And then, I see it's very sequential here. Right. We also presumably need to be able to configure what package we are released at. Right, because Nuxt is released as a Nuxt 3, and then the other ones have the -edge, but it's not necessarily predictable. Hey, Joaquin, good to see you. And yeah, you know me, and just always with my gaming streams. It's just constant gaming streams all the time. That's what I'm all in for. Okay, so let's see. The thing is, we basically already have the code. This shouldn't be too complex. We should be pretty much ready to go. Only putting it in the right order and making sure like the DX makes sense. So we have a couple of things going on here, and I think the first thing that we need to be able to do is bump, like set the new package names and versions. That's the main thing. So we want to be able to. Do we already do this? We have semver bump version. Okay, so we have a bump version, and yeah, that updates the version. how about we instead, there's pre-ID. Ah, I see. We want to instead, I think, let's try this. Okay, so acquire semver, increment minor, say we have 2.14, and we want to increment by that a minor version, and then what is that pre-ID going to do? It's going to be null. Oh, it's the other way around. So I'm expecting this is going to bump me up to 2.15, and if I have a pre-ID, it's not doing anything. What's this about? Oh, I see. If it's a pre-release, then we have a pre-ID. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And yeah, right. This is not related to Taze. This isn't about bumping your dependencies. This is about bumping your package version itself. So updating it from like Nuxt 3.16 to 3.16.1, and doing, but we specifically want to bump it in a way that reflects the current commit hash. So I think what we want to do, I'll try just creating a new function here called bump edge version, because I'm not sure how much of this is really linked. But let's see, bump edge version. And let's see, our existing code is here, where we're basically going to grab a commit, get the latest commit, determine a bump type, and then update. Like, this is all very specific to Nuxt, right? It's referring to NitroPack and etc. So basically, yeah, we want to be able to do something like that. Right. So identify version based on commits, since based on type of commit. So in other words, the feature will bump it up to a minor. Why the cursive font? I'm afraid this is aesthetic. I like it, is the answer. Taze is great. Taze is great. Okay, so based on type of commit, and since last release, we already have a command to do this. So we already have, pretty sure. Not sure why it's not here, but that's what we want. We want to see what the last, the current commit is. And we want to determine bump type. Yeah, that is going to be it. So interesting. I think we just say that. Okay. So we can pull in the latest commits this way. Great. We want parse commits from here and get diff from here. So we already have it in the changelog and package. And we don't need to do anything about Nitro. And we have a date. Yes, it is Denkmono. No, Anthony is just a, solid gold. Anything that comes out from him. Okay. What else do we need in order to achieve this? So when we bump edge, we determine the bump type, which we can do here. So step 1, determine bump type. And then step 2, bump version to edge. So let's see, how did we do that? We got our bump type and we set the version to this. Right. And then what we're going to need to do is step 3, update package name and version appropriately. Okay, so and then step 4 will be release package, release workflow. So what is your IDE font? Like, when you say you've never thought about changing it, you mean you just set it once, or you mean you've never set the IDE font? The default font of your IDE. I am totally, like, I respect that, but I cannot imagine living in that world. Like, I could not, genuinely, that would just drive me. JetBrains Mono is beautiful. I went through a JetBrains Mono phase as well. Okay, so what we have is bump edge version. So this is what we're pulling in here, and what we want to be able to do is have a similar API for our new function that we're creating. So we are pulling in the GitHub commits. Oh, great. So we don't actually need to handle parsing the commits. We also don't need to handle getting the config because that's already present. So all of that is done for us. So we need to get the bump type, comic code. Comic code? Is that what it sounds like? Like Comic Sans for... Okay, look, I'm getting totally distracted, rightfully, by these font questions. So Hermit font and comic code. So Hermit. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Download. What is this? Okay, we can do that. We can also try comic code, which is here. No, I don't know if I can do this. Like, honestly, I feel like, no. Why is this? Like, I respect this. Totally respect this. But this is, I think it feels like it's beyond the pale here. Let's see. Okay, well, let's see. I mean, I'm more interested by Hermit, honestly. It looks like it has a nice aesthetic. Okay. Okay, this is bad. Thank you, Winter. Okay. I downloaded it, right? It's here. Come on. Downloads, Hermit. Let's do something with this. Open with Fontbook. And install. Okay. I don't think I'm about to change my main font, but I'm just going to give it a try. We can drop it here. Hermit. No, it's too bold. This is just it's too wide. I thought I was going to give this a try, but I don't think I can give this a try. I think it's just too... Change it to 13.5. Still, it's not great, I think. Okay. All right. What am I doing? Okay. So basically, we have a. Okay. I want to. Now it looks weird to me. Now I'm. My mind is playing tricks. Like I'm not even sure what I'm looking. Is this the same font I had before? I'm confused. I'm very confused. It is, right? Tank Mono. What about JetBrains Mono? Also too wide, but better. Like it's. I think JetBrains Mono is nice. I think it's the same. I think it's. I often change my font size, but I do it just by changing my editor size as a whole. And it's a little bit larger anyway, so people can see it more easily on there. Hey, I was talking about you a moment ago, and this is right up your alley because you're already building that action, aren't you, for the what's it? Okay. Okay, so basically what we want to do is pull in the package. Yeah, we need to get the package. What are we doing with this? I see. Okay. So we pull in our current package. We need to access. Yeah, I'm working on changelogin. Hey, Heb. Hi. Increase a bit more. Boom. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. Maybe it's the font weight. Maybe I have a font weight set somewhere that needs to be handled. Okay. So right, so we're going to basically we need to know the current commit so that we can use that as part of our new version. We need to know the type, the bump type first. So the bump type is going to be simply based on the last set of commits. Okay, that's fine. That's going to tell us major, minor, etc. Then we need to know the current version and get the new one. So the package current version is going to be that. Okay. And I think we should probably move this up there. Is that right? Yeah, probably. Okay, so we have a patch. And then generate edge version. Okay, so we're getting this based on the date. Hey, nice to see you. Okay, let's see. Are we using exec sync anywhere else? How about exec anything in this project? We are using execa and exec command. Okay, and what are we doing in here? We can just use exec command. No, not exec command, exec command. Oh, I see, it's just available here in Git. So I think that's an indication we probably need to move this out. So we want basically to do current commit, get current, ref parse short head. I think this is what we want, right? Where am I missing it? Should I just instead get the last commit? So dot short hash, that's probably what I want, right? So line number 90, correct the comment. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so basically we have our current version, our date, and our commit, and commit 0. I guess the question is which way these commits are ordered. So let's try just doing some sort of live stuff here. I wonder if I can open Quokka now. Just try this. Can I stub it? Let's try this. We're exporting this. I should do this in a what kind of test fixtures do we have? Let's try parse. Commit from to. Okay, initial, oops, what am I doing? Initial commit and hey, how are you? Okay, let's see. So what I want to do here is just see what the, I'm just going to log it. I'm just very curious. Okay, so the okay, so yeah, the 0 is going to be the most recent one. Right. Excellent. As we would expect. So that's good. So we can just use this directly. Oh, let me just check that it is going to give me my hash. Beautiful. Okay, got our hash, and we can use that in our Semver script. So basically, it's going to give us a new version. We need to do a couple of things. So we're going to need to update package.json, which is right, and we are going to. This is probably going to cover. Yeah, this actually we're probably going to end up wanting to modify bump version rather than do our own thing. But let's see. So our default version is to bump this version. Okay. And we would do something like, we want a config somehow to tell us whether we're doing an edge release, because the difference is that it's going to add the date in the commit. So, so far, this is all the same. And then who is more English, me or Rich Harris? I'm American as well, so probably Rich. Rich is probably not American, which means probably that makes me less English or just more American. Well, one or the other. There's probably something going on there. Okay, this all does seem fine. So basically, this logic is the only bit that we really need to keep. So we would do something like current version. It's fine. So we would do something like if config. Okay, so we have our config, and our changelog config it has a new version which we use when we are explicitly setting the the new version we want. Where are we? Do I find it helps with the problem solving? I'm not 100% sure that it actually helps. I find it might, I sometimes feel like I'm slower, like, because I feel like maybe a little bit embarrassed to just sit back and think. So it's like, but I don't know, maybe it does help. Maybe I'm trying to think how we use new version. I'm not familiar with this code base basically. I don't really, I've not spend much time here. I think maybe the new version is only a way of storing it so we don't have to recreate the version every time. So I think we're always going to respect that. And then we're going to do something else. In this particular case, we're going to want to say this if, config.edge maybe, then we are going to do all of this stuff. So we already have our current version. Great. We have a date. We need our commit hash. And then what we're going to want to do is this. So basically set the package version and then set the new version. And then what we're going to do is directly use this. So version date and hash. I think that is basically the code. So you want to ask if Nux Labs is hiring. Well, they would be very lucky to have you for sure. I don't know though. So I don't work for Nux Labs. So they sponsor me, but I'm not an employee. They have a team. They have a French team, and I think not just French. I think there are international developers like remote. But definitely, I can connect you if that's something you're interested in. Okay, so this is what an Edge release might look like. Seems fair. That is nice of you to say. Probably need the same. We would want to basically do I think this, we wouldn't pay attention to ops pre-ID. So we'd say something like const next version is this, and then we pop that in just to make it a little bit simpler. Okay, that will be the answer then. Right. Okay, so I think that is basically our Edge version. But we still need to do the sort of release workflow, and we still need to handle the package name change. Like that is a significant thing. So let's go to our changelog config and basically say, how about Edge? Is that good enough for what we're looking for? So basically what we want is to, yeah, this is fine. Although I wonder if the date, I mean, what this means is every time we run this, it's going to have a different hash, which I guess is what we want. Okay, so we're running this bump version command where? Here in our default command. So we're bumping the version. So where are we going to set the config? We load the changelog config, and I think we want to say Edge is going to be args Edge maybe. So if you say release -- Edge, so that would make sense as a, so you'd run changelogin release edge or something like that. And so let's see, that's not going to change much here. We also need to know I think by default, it could just release it as a pre-release version on what do you mean TypeScript at the moment? I'm not sure I even know what that means. Okay, so let's update this. Not sure these lines need to change at all. Okay, so we have an edge. We need some way of configuring that. So let's see, we have our config file, and I think we need to have some kind of option set as well, like an edge edge package or something like that. So sort of, if that exists, then we use that as the package name. Otherwise, we use the main one as a package name. Okay. So args release or args edge. No, I think release is required, because I think there'll be a release if we're wanting to do this by. Okay, and then what we want to do here, markdown is fine, changelog. Okay, if it's release, commit and tag changes. Right, so we need to change package name if it's an edge release. I think that's probably it. Oh, I guess the thing is, it's not a real release if it's an edge release. So if we don't want to update GitHub changelogs. Hey, I don't know if the stream is going well. Should ask somebody else. As far as I'm concerned, I think we're sort of making progress. This is taking a bit longer than I thought it might. But yeah, we're gradually making progress towards an edge release tool. Okay, let's see. If args tag, so yes, so we basically don't want to tag it. Like, probably we don't want to tag it, we don't want to get release, we just want the edge. So I think maybe it is true that we basically shouldn't, like, if you want to do this, if you want to have an edge release, probably you just want to do changelog and edge, or edge release. Like, maybe that is better. Like that. And then we don't need to, so because this is a different beast of a thing compared to some of the other changes. So the only thing we need to do is change the package name, I think. So let's see. If args edge release, change package name. So const package name is going to be, do we have access? No, we don't have it here. So I basically think we want to call something like update package name. So we have our bump version, this is in Semver, and we basically need something like, let's find out where other similar code is located. Repo, I guess. Or maybe we just put it in a separate place. Well, I'll drop it here to start with. Export async function, update package name. and basically we're going to pull in probably the same kind of stuff. The config, I think, is the only thing we really need to start with. And we need to set, so if config.edge, then we're going to update the package name. So if not config edge return, basically name is config.edge package, or config. I guess we only want to do this if there is an existing edge package. Seems too simple, right? If not config edge, or like actually at this point it's doing nothing. Okay, sorry, what do you mean it won't run? So let's see what's happening at the moment. So we're running, we set edge to true because someone passes edge release. So we just said edge release. We create a logger, we get some commits, we pass them. This is set because edge releases happen, so we bump the package version in the package file. Then we generate some markdown. We display only is not args bump and not args release and not args, I think, edge release. I think that would also be a display only. Then this we skip. Oh, if args, yeah, of course, exactly. So yeah, that's right. That's quite right. Thanks for that. Okay, so basically if args edge release, then we basically want to update the package name. And I think args.release or args.edge release makes sense because a lot of this will be the same. So args commit. I think well, I mean, let's see how. Basically, we don't want to tag, we don't want to commit, we don't want to push. In fact, actually, none of this is relevant for edge releases. So I think no, it is true. We just want to pull this out. So we don't want to run any of that. So basically, we want to update package name and push an edge release entirely separate. Okay, so we're going to update the package name, and basically, if there's an edge package, then we're just going to return. Otherwise, we're going to update the package name, which is that we're going to read the package JSON, going to get the package path. I feel at this point we're going to update we're going to create a function to abstract this because we're doing it twice. And then we're going to write it here. Updating package name from package name to package version for edge release. And then we set package.name is config edge package, and then write it. Okay, so that will do it for us if we have a change. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do is if name is different, then I think we don't need any kind of tag. If name is the same, we need an edge tag or something like that. Right, I think that's probably the case. Now, how are we doing our releases? Oh, we're not doing any really. I mean, we're not actually running npm publish here at all, are we? So in our source code, we're not running npm. Okay, so there's no existing code for this. Let's pull out our package code because we've done this a couple of times. And so basically what we want to be able to do is get export function use package JSON or use package, and it's going to take in changelog config, and we're basically going to do this. So we're going to basically want to be able to update it and get something. Okay, so we're going to resolve the path as we do elsewhere. We're going to read the package. We are going to return that. So let's see, we're going to return package and update is just going to be this. So that should mean that all we need to do is that should be nice and simple, right? So we should just use package, so something like this. And then we just need to basically say oh, it's an async. Why it shouldn't be an async thing. So do we have access to a... Oh, well, it's async, I guess. How did you learn that? I think is a question that's probably worth asking. Okay, so I think this should probably be write package. And we can do the same kind of thing here. So I think we should be able to do this. Let's see here. And we should just be able to make the changes and then again, write package. Right. So that, I don't know if that simplifies much, but it feels good. Okay, so basically at this point, where are we? What are we doing? So oh yeah, this is the key thing here. I almost wonder if it makes sense conceptually to change the package name at this stage. So and then basically right, feat edge release. Might as well do this. It seems like something has actually merged while I've been doing these changes. Okay, so we want to, actually we probably want, like a publish command, and then we publish edge. Although I guess the publish command is more an arg, because you might want to publish and do all these other things at the same time. So it'll be an arg. So basically we want to edge, maybe it's edge and publish. That makes sense. Okay, so not edge release, but just edge, and specifically args edge like this. And we also want publish. So, and that would allow people to sort of granularly handle this. So our changelog and config could also have like a publish Boolean, because that might be relevant for not just edge publishers, but also normal publishers. So we could say publish is going to be args publish, or args edge, I think. No, just args publish. Okay. So we then want, if we are publishing, if, where's our name? I think we are going to want a separate publish command here. So export async function publish npm package and changelog and config. And we basically want to, our steps are going to be, like our end result is going to be that we run npm publish. So let's create this is our exec command. So probably want that, and probably also we can share it with here. Okay, so we're going to want at the end of the day to run exec command like this. We're going to want to run npm publish, and we might have some other options. So we might have a tag, access. What are some other things we might want to? Oh, we're sort of clearly on the same line. Okay, so we're going to publish. We want to have provenance. Registry. Although, is that something you tend to specify on the command line, or is it just specified in your .npmrc? Access. I feel like access is already set up if you surely PNPM respects whatever underlying things you've got, right? Now, I've always set package provenance with hey, Tom. Somehow I feel that Tom knows that. Okay, we can include provenance. We can also do that with a env variable. So I'm not sure what is preferred, but I think maybe we could definitely do it this way if we wanted. Okay, so feels like provenance is going to be relevant most of the time. Yeah, that's true. I think users can set it with the environment variable flag themselves. That's a good point. Like to start with, let's just make it publish. I think tag is the most useful thing, right? Because that is what's going to be like the edge tag or whatever. This is always my mug. My mug is always this big. So this is actually full of tea. Okay. I'm just sitting here looking at npm publish. I feel like, I'm sure that we can make this configurable. But basically what we want to do is we want to publish npm package, right? So like that. That's what we want to do. And actually we could stick this after args release. Oh no, I think we want to publish first, because then if it fails, it's not going to fail the jokes here are unbelievable. Goodness me. What are we doing? What kind of world is this? Okay. npm publish. Okay, we can have some more args here, and exactly we take some further options, right? So we have our might be worth specifying that. So we have our options. Think. So that might be where we could specify things like. This is just English breakfast tea. There is zero nettle tea though. It's meant to be very good for you, but it doesn't taste very good, I think. Nettle tea is just green, and like it is of like nettle. A nettle is it's just a weed, right? I'm told it has nutrients, but like I don't think anybody says nettle tastes good. But I might be wrong. I am so lost. What are we doing? We need a tag. We need to decide what our tag is going to be. And so are these separate arguments? I guess they probably are. What are we doing in separate arguments? So we basically want our tag to be something like, I'm so out of touch with the milk. I can tell you that there's milk in my tea. That is the closest I am to the sort of the new hotness in the current scene on Twitter. Right. Okay. So what we want is let's see, if config.edge, then we're going to say sort of args is publish. We're going to pass these here. We're going to say args push tag latest. What is it in French? I would be interested to know that. It's a very specific thing. Tim Hortons. Interesting. Okay, good to know. Config edge package. Then we're going. So basically, if there's an edge package, then it's. If there's not an edge package, then we're going to push tag. What is it? Edge. Does that make sense? Like, what's a good default? We can make this configurable, but what is the? We could say edge tag. Edge, okay. Okay, then we're going to pass those as our args, and provenance can be set with a npm variable. Access, I think, already should be set up by this point. This is an edge release, it shouldn't be the first commit. Registry, I think you can set with your .npm rc or with an environment variable as well. So I think this is enough. And not, okay, and either or config edge tag. Okay, so basically if they add one specifically, then we respect it, and if they don't have an edge package, then by default we do add a tag, right? Okay, so basically we can ignore that. So, is that it? What have I missed? I'm sure I've missed something here. So what we would need to do... Now what we haven't done is update workspace dependencies. But I don't know how... Does changelog support workspaces? No, I think not. It's used for individual packages. So it actually might not make a great deal of difference to Nuxt upstream yet. But I think this should publish a package. Yeah. Are you responsible for that PR? Should I take a look at it? I'm just making these consistent. Nice. No, it looks like we need to merge that. I've even reviewed it. I always appreciate pings on JS PRs because sometimes, because I'm not looking at it every day, it's easy for some things like this to get to drop off the radar. Also, this is a really big PR, 30 files changed, so it probably deserves some careful attention. Okay, so let's just lint it again. That all seems right. Okay. Now the question really is, what is nettle? I thought we were talking about nettle tea. What kind of nettle is now coming to Nuxt? Right. So what we want is some kind of it is a great name for a library, but I bet you it is taken. Let's see. NPM gone, not there. Nettle.js, possible. Some stuff there. There's already a Twitter handle. Some domains. This is the best website in the world for this purpose. It's at namai.dev. It is a great way for finding new names for projects. Like, it immediately finds everything for you. Social networks, like package registries, Nuxtl. I bet it isn't. I absolutely bet it's not taken. So, unnettle. Like 100% available. Like whatever you want Nuxtl for, you can have Nuxtl for. Right, let's see if there's a way we can test any of this. So what is our surface area? We obviously the full command. It's so annoying, people parking domains. I'm not a fan. We want to be able to, what can we test? Publish npm package, probably not testable. We could probably mock that though, if we wanted to test the whole workflow. We're testing this on our own repo, is what we're doing. bit dangerous. Well, let's see what it does. Can we run changelogin? Yes, we can. So if I were to run publish, I expect it's going to run npm publish. Yeah, it requires you to be logged in, but it is running publish, right? So it's okay, it hasn't bumped. It needs to bump, right? I think you would want it always to bump, unless you do that separately. What if I do edge like that? It's bumped version, it's updating changelog, maybe it shouldn't do that, and then it's trying to publish it there. And it's trying to publish it there as it shouldn't bump. That's the one thing it shouldn't do. That somehow that's still happening. So let's see what's wrong in our workflow. Oh no, it's the generation of the changelog. So display only is, it's not bump and not release and not edge. Oh, it's not or edge. Nuttle, that's good. Get it. That's great. Okay, if we're not bumping and not releasing, then it's display only. And it's also display only if we are doing args edge. Okay, let's try that once more. And I also am just going to quickly log the publish command. So just to confirm. Exactly. I am edge. I have identified with edge. Okay, so great. This has not now made any change to my project. It has updated my package JSON, which I was expecting. Has it logged me out my args? Yes, tag edge. So that's what it would have done. And actually I should have seen it. It was doing that there. Good. Okay. And we need a README update as well. So what we would want to do is publishes package as a new version on npm. To set authorization tokens separately via PMRC, or what sites do you run, Winter? What do you mean by that? Separately via npmrc or environment variables, and we also have --edge bumps version in package JSON to an edge compatible version based on type of commit since last release plus date and commit hash. Okay. Does Twitch send emails? Okay. Only question, I have got some questions, so this could be better, right? The thing is, if you're doing it in CI, then you want this provenance to be true. Oh, cool. Okay, so basically, if we're in CI, we probably want provenance to be enabled. Okay, so I think let's try that as a default. So what is it, npm or publish? So what we want is, do we have standard env in this project? No, let's add it. Is CI from standard env. Basically, if we know we're running in CI, then we should probably also enable provenance. How about that? Does that sound reasonable? Provenance. Okay, I think that's maybe a reasonable thing to do. We can always investigate it later. What else might we want to do? Like, should we integrate with this GitHub release command? Whoa, thank you, Peter. So in our GitHub release command, we want like, I think -- release -- publish is fine. Like that would work all together. And if you're doing GitHub release, I think let's just do this for the moment. So feat enable provenance when running in CI. Yes are the answers. So I will. So my only thing with Clerk is that a couple of other people are also building this already. So there's an H3 Clerk, which here. So Robert Soriano has done this, which is very cool. That doesn't mean that there's no need for a Nuxt module, but it sort of there's a lot already, and a couple of other people are interested, I think, too. That's the only reason I've not pushed the door further. I also got contacted by the kind people and thinking I'll probably do something about that as well. And Lucia, I think, again, I'm really glad that they've checked out the project. I think part of this, like a lot about that, I think there were some roadblocks, but I think it was mostly about documentation. So there are things I think that Nuxt provides to do exactly what they need. I just need to communicate that. And also, by the way, like, we need to tell people some of the things that Nuxt can do. Like, Nuxt can do a lot of things we haven't yet necessarily fully documented. That's one of the biggest challenges, I think, that we really need to make sure that we are documenting. I know every time I see it, I think Kindle. So I'm not partial. I don't have any sort of favorites, I think, or I don't want to with all of these providers. Like, I want people to be able to use what they want to use. Right. I think that seems reasonable. Let's push this up. Good to get some review of it and maybe some testing. Oh yes, Tom rightly suggested disabling provenance. So we could actually we could support that. So let's see. remind me. I just need to npm config provenance false. We could do that. So you override it with an environment variable. Oh no, you're right. I think we only support GitHub, right? So we probably also need to detect that we're in a GitHub environment. Provider is it gonna? Are we gonna know that we're in GitHub? GitHub Actions. That enough? Let me just check with standard env. We're doing our best. We're doing our best to provide most things, but or is it plan? No, it's provider. I think, let's try that again. So he totally does need recognition. He is a one-man powerhouse, for sure. Okay, what's happening here? Change login. Yes, I have even self-hosted my own. I use Bitbucket and GitLab, and I've even self-hosted my own GitLab. Self-hosted my own like set of runners on a Kubernetes cluster I hadn't understood. So like I like it. I like self-hosting. Absolutely. Wait a second. We should be already doing this. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've tried Git. Yeah, I like DevOps. I really like it. Okay. I recently moved my analytics from Vercel. So I tried Vercel Web Analytics, but honestly, the free tier was just too low for even just my personal website. I only used it on my personal website, and it was too low for that. So it looked really nice. It was great to integrate with their platform. So I moved back to Plausible, but self-hosted. So I have a little self-hosted Plausible instance on fly.io, which is another excuse for trying it out. It's a great platform. Really like it. Okay, so we've done that basically. I think we've got something up there that should be usable. We need to test it a little bit more. maybe test it in Nuxt. And yes, so there's lots more to do, lots of fun stuff coming. But I will, yeah, nice. Thanks for dropping the link. And there are a couple of, if you're interested specifically in plausible, self-hosting plausible with Fly, check out this website. And there's some good steps there. This is good. Hey, nice to see you. Right, I'm going to take a break and go and grab some more tea. And I think I've got enough water. So back in 5 minutes. And feel free to take a break or whatever. And I'll see you in a sec. Okay, I am back. Oh, for goodness sake. Obviously someone updated this. Batch version. Get rebase origin main, and just want to stick this one in between. Oops. What is going on? Something. Thank you. You can see what it is here, but it is basically a Keychron Q5 QMK. Pico CSS version 2. What's going on with that? Come on, Pico CSS. Is there a new version of it? Oh, it's beautiful. Pico CSS is just lovely. Like honestly, it's just sort of instantly beautiful. I didn't realize there was a new version, and actually I feel like I might not have installed them, which is ridiculous. Version 2, is it coming soon? What? Oh, .com. Oh, I am going to have to try this out. This is so exciting. This is very exciting. It's just all gloriously just works. Right. Okay. I should set up. So Pico CSS is great for small projects. And for projects where you don't want to like customize your I think when you if you're building something and it's going to be I use it for demos. I use it for tiny projects where I don't want to think about the CSS. I just want it to look good out of the box. Like there'll be a lot of things where you don't want to use it, but I mean, just look at that. It's lovely, right? There's no styling. It's just default HTML elements, which is just nice. Okay. So, what is next is the question. What is next? So I think there are a couple of things we could do that are totally unrelated to this, but there are maybe also a couple more things we could do in changelogin if we wanted to. Oh, publish flag. I think we just did that. Maybe he'll specify some things we should have done in the implementation. Let's see. Hey Matt, thank you. Okay, let's just update that there. So I did write a little bit about this. If this is like, it might be relevant, it might not be relevant. But I'm also very willing to have a chat if you want to. You can, yeah, Jinx. Like if you want to book a call in, I'd be really happy to do that. Okay, so where are we? Okay, so anyone fancy? Should we do a little bit on Nuxt? So I think I want to make server components do hot module reloading. So if you're in a workflow and you're making a change to a server component, it should reload like on the client, just the server component, nothing else. Does that seem like a reasonable? Oops, wrong thing. This. Does that seem like a reasonable thing to do? Okay, let's do it. I'm just assuming that everybody is totally on board with this. And we'll leave changelog open because it might end up doing something. Oh yeah, thank you for the reminder. We need to fix the Nuxt good first issues, because at the moment I was so I have my nice beautiful little label. Look, good first issue, but it hasn't an emoji, which means it won't get picked up by anything. So I think we need to edit that back, which is annoying because I think I've referenced it in a couple of places, but I think it needs to be back to good first issue like this. And that way it can be searched in the same kind of way. I think I might need to change my blog as well. Let me just check. Because I think I link to good first issues, and I think that requires the emoji. So that's a pain. I'll fix that in a sec. Or maybe I'll do it now. Yeah, you can URL encode them, and they are URL encoded. The issue is that the good first issue doesn't work with, so that's URL encoded, right? The issue is the good first issue does not work with the like GitHub's automate like integrations. So I just need to drop this, I think. So that should be what I want, right? Let's just try it. No. Oh, I have a space. There we go. Okay. Update that. Fix remove emoji from good first issue. Oh, what kind of PR were you going to raise? Or just this one? It is private. I need to open source it. Totally. Okay. What am I doing? So let's do HMR for server components in Nuxt. So basically, let's start our dev server and create a server component. And I think HMR for this should not be too complicated. So we're going to enable experimental server island component islands. And we're going to create a server component. And the server component is going to be, come on. Oh. Is going to just say, hi there, I'm a server component. And we will use it in our app.view. And it's going to be what? Test me. Okay, so we've got our server component, and I'll just need to open the port. And there we go. So the issue that I'm talking about is that at the moment, I can go back and I can make a change to the server component and nothing happens, obviously, because it's a change to something that's only rendered on the server. So there's no HMR on that. Nothing has changed in the client build, except it should, I think. Like in terms of the user experience of doing something, I think that we should be able to have like hot module reload. So I think when we make these changes, it should update on the client side. That's my feeling. So how do we make that happen? I think it shouldn't be, well, not say that I think it shouldn't be too hard. Let's actually dive in and see what. Yes. What is the, I mean, it is very cool. Like, I'm not actually sure, it doesn't work in this particular case, like as in it doesn't display in the URL, but, oh, I see, yeah. Okay, so what we want to do with our server components, our component islands, is handle HMR. So I think what we ought to be able to do here is actually refresh the component when the island changes. So let's see whether we can do this. We should be able to do import meta.hot and update our component. I also want to do one more thing, and that is enable lazy loading components. Yeah, so basically we await this here, but I think we want to allow lazy loading server islands. So someone made a very good point. It was, I saw a stream, so Eric Hanchett put out a deep dive into Nuxt server components. And one of the things that he said, here's the link. So one of the things he said, quite rightly, was that if you were transitioning like from one page to another page, it would wait for the server component to render before rendering the next page. So in other words, it would block. Whereas sometimes the point of a server component is you don't want it to block, you want the client state to load. So I think we need to allow not blocking, and the good news is it's extremely simple. So we could just do something like sort of passing a lazy prop to it, and it would then not block on the navigation. Extremely simple, honestly. Making the type sort will be a little bit more complex, but it should be reasonable. Anyway, we can have a look. I've just put a to-do comment in to make that possible. But HMR, right? So what we want to do is basically be able to re-trigger running the island, and we can do that with okay, what are we going to want to call? We have our fetch component, but we are going to have a module change, and it's not going to be the client module, it's going to be the server module. So we probably want to be able to do something like we have our transform. So our transform is, let's see. Where's our transform? Islands transform. Okay. So in here, what we do is we have our transform include, and we do our transform. I think what we want to be able to do is send a custom WebSocket event. So let's try something like let's see, Vite, and we want to be I guess this is only running in the server build. So maybe it's the wrong thing to do. But basically what we could do is basically emit like a WebSocket event to make this happen, to sort of trigger. So like what we would want to do in here is something like, so our fetch component, and we would do something like this, import meta. So if import meta hot, then import meta hot accept, sort of the new module here. This is not what we want to do. Actually, we don't want to just do accept. We want to accept specifically a particular dependency. So we want to accept the maybe we don't want to do this at all. Maybe we want to do on and let's move to a custom event. So we'd say server component, and we want to listen to a particular ID, maybe. Key is going to be props name. That's what we want to care about. And when we get that, we are going to trigger fetch component. Right? I think that would work. It'd be easier to inject in the client component to rehydrate. What do you mean? This is the only thing that is rendered with a server component. This is this component here. So this is the server component. Triggering update. And what we want, I think, what we could do is, I think we could be much more much blunter about how we handle this. So let's just try this here for a second. If not is server, then we're going to just push a plugin like this. Now what we want to do is, let's see, we have a handle hot update. I'm not 100% sure this is the right thing to do. I don't think it's going to be triggered by any hot updating. Let's just see what happens, right? I don't think this will be triggered because it's the wrong. I mean, it'll be triggered by lots of other things, but I don't think it'll be triggered by changing this file. Let's try. Interesting. So we are having something hot update. But it's clearing the screen. Let's see if I can disable that. Clear screen, false. Let's try it again. Okay, actually it is working. Okay, this may be so much simpler than I was thinking. Then all we have to really do is translate the name. Rather than because we don't know the actual component that's rendering this in the client build. So all we have to do, I think, is try what is the thing that is okay. The hot update is getting context, which is the file. Okay, what's the file? It's actually not what I'm thinking it is. It's a lot of files. Okay, what is specifically the file that I'm looking for? I want, yeah, okay, that is right. Okay, so if context.file components is get components server. If components find c.c.file path is context file dot island. Okay, so basically when there's an island, then we're going to emit how do we emit with this dot emit? How do we emit an HMR event? Let's see. We should be able to do this. So void HMR content. Oh, we can just emit. Server, yeah, that's what we want. So we're going to want to access. Do we have access to server? Yes, okay. We're going to send our custom event, which is event and our component. Let's try this again. So island is that, and so we'll say we need more. Okay, we need an event and type custom. It would be crazy if this actually worked. Right, let's see. No, it does not. Let's see. What's running here? Import meta hot on. Can I do star? No. Yes. Console log. Just sort of hoping that will work. Whoa, that's a lot of stuff. That is a good question. Okay, nothing is being called. Maybe because it's a custom event, but let's open that link. Come on. So how many times have I changed career? I think I've done a lot of different things. I think it's felt quite natural. So I don't think I've, apart maybe from once, has it felt like a really big change. So, and I am very grateful for everything that I've done along the way. But yeah, you're right. So I've had a couple of really big moves and things that certainly from the outside don't seem to be that connected. Okay, so we have on. Okay, custom I think okay, dot on. No, this seems like exactly what we're doing. So it feels like we're doing the right thing. So we are sending custom. Maybe we're listening to the wrong name. So let's try that. So we might have listening to that. And okay, so we've got that. Client needs to handle the same event. I think this is the client. This is the client handling the event. And we just need to make sure that what we are, like, that the event is the same. And I think it's possible that props name might be, camel cased in one and kebab cased in another. That's my current theory. So I think this might be quite a simple one, but I'm just wanting to put all the things in place that we know what console log sending update for that and that and that. Okay, let's try this once more. Oh, and we don't want to log the entire context, please. There we go. Okay, we're listening to Nux server component test me. And if I go here and save it, okay, so that HTML update is the server update, not the client update. It was, why was I? Oh no, it's not an island. So let's see, console log. Let's try this. It might be that we were, we were never triggering an update. I think it might be that the issue is mode server island undefined. That's the issue. So why is it mode server island undefined? What if I call for client components? Then I think we'll probably get a server component. This is just, yeah, okay. So if comp server, I think that probably is fine, right? Interesting. We'll have to experiment with that type. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're asking. So for me, so each change for me has been, they're a little bit different. So if you don't know, so I basically studied law at university, which I loved. I like a big fan. I really liked arguing. I was very involved in moot court, which is a sort of mock debate. I would have been interested in being a barrister. I went studied on a sort of mini pupillage at a Chambers, and mode. Oh, sorry, it's mode server, not dot server. File path is that. But at university, I was involved. I began to think that maybe my what I enjoyed, like that. So I enjoyed law, but I began to think that maybe I wasn't just motivated by what I enjoyed and the person that I was, but I was maybe motivated more about what people thought about me. And so maybe the reason I wanted to be a lawyer was more to do with that than it was to do with my own ambition and what I would want to do. And so I thought that was something, let's see. Yeah! HMR working. Okay. No? Okay, it is triggering, but it's not triggering. So we're not refetching, that's the issue. We need somehow to force the reload of the island. So that's great though, like it's working. But what it's not doing is forcing this. I haven't forgot the question. I will come back to it. Wait a second. Okay. Ah. No, the force is up there. So let's try that. That's nice, isn't it? Like that's pleasant. That is pleasant. Okay. I think that is a nice change to have. So it's also not super complex. Like it's very simple. We're not adding any watchers or anything that's going to take any kind of extra effort. It's just a very, very simple. Let's grab a component. Let's send a custom event. And we're only listening to that custom event here, and it's also only in dev mode. So it's totally tree shakes out, but it should just make life a little bit simpler. Okay. Server component HMR. Really? You have to tell me more. That is very intriguing. We're going to make a little PR. Oh. Module incoming. I love to hear that. So basically, my transition from law to what I did next was then I studied theology. I worked for a church, I studied theology, and I became a church leader, a pastor, or a vicar as they're called in England. And that was very much thinking that my motivation for being a lawyer wasn't just about what I enjoyed, but more about what people thought about me, and wasn't about sort of glorifying God as the person I am, but was really about sort of satisfying others. And so that was a real challenge to me. And I think that move was great. So when I then worked for a church, it was a lovely time. The transition then from working for a church to starting a creative agency was motivated by a desire to bring my parents to live in the same country as me. And that was a bigger jolt in terms of my self-identity and figuring out who I was. I mean, for myself, I think if I were in a job interview and someone were asking me these questions, I think I'd be quite open with them about like the whenever you change careers, a question in other people's minds and also in your own heart is going to be, did I change because I wasn't good enough at doing that other thing, or because I failed in some way, or because I lacked the ability to persist and continue with something? And that is a difficult thing to deal with personally, because you have to ask hard questions about yourself to yourself. Like, is this something that what kind of person am I? Am I the kind of person who gives up? Am I the kind of person who wasn't good enough at doing that? I mean, I think I probably in a job interview, I would want to point out some of the skills and things I enjoyed, things I learned from previous kind of careers that I've had, why I feel it's beneficial to me. Explain a little bit about the situation that's led to change in career, in order that they understand this isn't like a perennial thing that you just constantly change what you want to do. Because in some cases it will be very specific to the circumstances, like in my particular case, it was sort of getting my parents a visa to come to the UK, and that has happened now and they're here. Yeah, that would totally be possible. Some of them were good, and others are more documentation. Like, so some of them are bugs, some of them are documentation, but all of them are good. Let's see. Yeah, no, that is absolutely true. Um, and we might as well give a little demo. Okay, right. I should add it there. Um, Probably because I didn't buy it myself, so and I'm on a sort of like old version of it. Yeah, clean shot. Uh, okay. Boom. Right. Okay. So I think that's one thing. Um, we could handle lazy server components, but we could also have a look at the sort of auth questions from Lucia. Lucia auth. Let's see. Cool. Let's do it. So first, there's a discussion that the author has opened. So let's look at that. This. Pilcrow on paper. Come on. Oh, for goodness sake. Why is this not loading? This is very weird. There we go. That is so weird. What's happening? Open a new window. That's the best thing. Right. Did it open? It opened. Okay, so the issue here is if you want to have some kind of situation where you are, okay. So this is about loading data. GitHub is failing. GitHub is failing or my pull request is failing? This is a question. Maybe just GitHub. Because yeah, there's some weirdness about it. If we had a proper like client-side app, GitHub could be so much better, I feel. Anyway, I don't like the sort of current front-end side of things. GitHub I love GitHub, it's great, but I think it could be better. Okay, so the idea that you would have page loaders, they run before the page loads, and then you can avoid duplicate fetch requests and typed auth state. Yeah. Yeah, the issue, I think a lot of the issue here, these are not the, I don't think anything here is an issue with Nuxt. I think this is about communicating how to do this in Nuxt, because I don't think that's how we do it. So let's instead pull up the some of the tweets, which I think were more bugs. Pilcrow on paper. And have a look at those. Let's see. This or this. This. Okay, so what do we want to do? Navigate to returns promise, can't use if statements, no docs or types for fetch errors. What education? So I studied law. In England, you say you read law, which is a bit of an unusual thing, or you read English. So I studied law. And then and my degree there is a bit weird because although I did a 3-year degree, it's if you're from the US, a law degree is a postgraduate degree. So you do 3 years of intensive study in law, and that's what I did as an undergraduate. So it's a law degree, but it's both a BA and an MA. Weirdly, it is a quirk of the UK system rather than a more advanced degree. And then I also have a degree in theology, which is theological and pastoral studies, which was a 4-year degree. And then that's it. I have a couple of other little things that are not degrees, but more like certificates. But that's my sort of education. No PhDs, nothing in computer science for sure. Allow synthetic default imports. This, I think, is something we could easily, not in programming, no. So we have this utils here where I think we could just enable that. I don't see a reason not. Oh, we do enable it. Okay. Volar doesn't work with node 20 types. Well, that is an issue with Volar. Okay, let me just create a little to-do list here so we can actually track everything. Okay, so what we want to do is this and this. Okay, and I want to go through everyone and make sure we handle all of these. So let's just create a little task list and okay. So okay, view being confusing, I can't control that. So that things I can't control, I'm removing from the list. Out of my control. Volar doesn't work with node 20 types. Also, I can't control that. This should already What do you mean you want to ask about computer science? Like what kind of thing do you want to ask? Enough to be able to get a degree. I think that is probably fair. No docs are types for fetch errors and issues with send redirect doesn't work as expected with fetch. So again, this is a case of you have to pass redirect manual to fetch, and then it won't follow the redirect. Like I feel like it's compliant. I don't think we can do anything with that. These errors may be so API to convert body to form data in H3. I think that exists. I think that exists as a pull request open today by Heb, who's on stream, and I think So I think basically this is in progress. Beautiful. So in progress already. Okay, so we've got that, which is good news. Ooh, what was that icon? That's cool. Haha. Okay, it's built into VS Code now to insert Markdown links. I'm very glad about that. Okay, we can have pages with a fresh project. I think this is an HMR issue that we actually should look at because it's getting annoying. And API routes must return an object. Actually, this is a documentation. We need to mention special null and undefined return types. I always like your PRs, Heb. Let's see. Okay, this shouldn't be, like it shouldn't narrow data.value because it can be updated. And I think we understand that. Okay, bugs. Type mismatch between fetch error and actual error, that sounds like a bug. This sounds like an HMR issue. No docs or types for fetch errors. I think sounds like a bug. There should be a type for fetch error. And can't send URL encoded forms. That I think might be can't send URL encoded forms. Then that should be a bug. That should be something we should fix in fetch. Like a lot of this is I loved calculus. Calculus is genuinely one of my favorite things in the world. Just from school. It's not like I've done it since then, and a bit in university. I went to some lectures, but that is just great. Okay, navigate to returns promise. Can't use if statements to narrow types. I think that is something you can do in a couple of different ways in Nuxt. As in, you can return navigate to. So I think we have a couple of examples in the docs. So you can you just await navigate to directly in your component, and it will return you back to a different page. So I think that's documentation maybe. Okay. Does anyone disagree about this? Anything this... Let's find some more information about this. I'm loving this conversation going on in the background. Yes, listen to whatever Reaper says. I'm sure it will be exactly the right response. Okay. They are brown. They are brown switches. The specific. I actually should mark exactly what kind of switches that they are on my users page. But they're Gateron G Pro Brown. Actually, I'm not sure. Do I say that on the? Oh, it might be the server directory. That would make sense. It might not be enabled in Nitro. Let's see, do I say the switches? No, I should say the switches. But they're Gateron G Pro Brown. Okay, let's fix it for Nitro then. So let's see. Oh, we might also need just to, before I entirely finish this, I think we might also just need to normalize this. So for Windows support. Okay. Let's pull in Nitro. Git clone. So what we want to do here is update our tsconfig. I think is here. Okay, so we want to add we also want to probably add bundler as our module resolution mode. think just do one at a time. Okay, so allow synthetic default imports. And I think we do want to switch it to bundler at some point. Now then, some kind of, oh, did it just lint me? I think it just linted. I love it. I love autofix. Just the fact that making a lint error doesn't mean your CI fails, it just fixes itself and carries on. That's so much better experience. Okay, right. What are we doing next? So we have made a couple of changes. I think the issue with Nitro was the one about synthetic default imports. What can we do? This is in progress with Heb. Navigate to returns a promise. I'm not sure that is a, oh, sorry, up to bugs probably. Type mismatch between fetch error and actual error. So those are both, I think, related to fetch itself. So no docs or types for fetch errors. Is that the case? So if I, let's trigger it. So const res is await fetch. We have on response error, and we have got a context. And there we go. So in our context, we have an error, which is typed as error. Cause, message name, and stack. Okay, so console log context error. And we also have on request error, and similarly, that will probably be typed as error as well. Yes. Okay, and I think probably, oops. In general, merging composables, although it's very attractive to have a single interface, does things like increase bundle size because it basically means all the functionality has to be present in one single place. So in general, I'm not necessarily in favor of that. As in just the in concept. In general, I probably am would lean against merging them. Is the answer. Okay, fetch. Okay, this is just caught, and nothing's been logged, right? But I'm very open to talk about it a little bit more. There's no reason you can't use view query with Nuxt. And so if people want to have a more opinionated pattern, okay, come on, give me an error. Okay, right, so we've got an error. We have a type error, and maybe what I need to do is get the keys of it. Is that a better thing to try? So useFetch does a lot on top of useAsync data. So basically I use rectangle, this thing, and I actually bought the Pro version, which is like £8. And it allows you to do things like specify like certain, I'm downloading it, that's not what I meant. I want to click this. It allows you to specify things like locations on a screen where windows go. So I can actually just like by hand, if I move that over there, and then I just pops it back exactly where I want it to go, which is very nice. And I can actually just sort of send it over there now and send it back here, and I could pop it over there. So it is a very nice thing that is fully free. Like you don't have to use the Pro version. Just the normal rectangle is great, and it is open source as well. Like it's very nice. Okay, what am I doing? Right, I want to see what's coming up here. Okay. Maybe the wrong way of getting it. Okay, context error dot cause, context error dot message, context error dot name, context error dot stack. It's clearly all coming out, like it's all there. So okay, what's the problem here? So with fetch, we've got our, we have, what am I looking for? Request. Oh, it's the options that we're looking at. Nitro fetch options, which extend fetch options. And fetch options here have an error. We do have a fetch error, which exists. So the only question is whether it should be typed as a fetch error, I think. Well, I mean, like this is just typed as an error. So like there must be a reason why we haven't typed it as fetch error. And it might be to do with like standards compliance, or the fact that we don't have control over every error. So some errors we do have control over. So we throw a normalized error in some cases. Where do we throw it? In the what I don't know, you see, is whether we can safely always type context error, or whether it's going to be in some cases unsafe to type. Like we have the type, so we could maybe give it as an option. It could be that, or it could just be a normal error. So that might be safe, or in this case, it might be a context response dot error. No. I guess that would just be from that. So in this case, we have, let's try it. Right, so status code is we don't actually throw the error until it's normalized. So this error is just an error at this stage. I wonder if it could be a fetch error, or a type error. Like, I wonder how much we can say that an error thrown by fetch, how much we can type it, because I think it could presumably be a number of different kinds of errors. It's only the actual thrown error here. Come in. This one, I think, is one we could take me a moment.
Come in.
I did.
We stole your sign earlier.
You're right. I am.
I picked a company one with a hole in it. It had a it was a bit glitzy, and I thought on a cap. What's this?
That's the escape key.
We stole this.
Yes, we can put the sign back, because I am still talking to a lot of people. Whoa, ooh, don't. I wonder what happens if you change the volume. This could definitely.
Okay, look.
Well done for listening to Amber earlier, Ned. That was right to wait and then knock and wait for me to do it. Good job. Good job. Well, it was good. What Amber said was right. It was good.
Mama said there was not going to play here. And it is quite loud for Daddy.
Was it loud for Daddy?
It
There
was.
is a gap under the door that sounds can get through even when the door is closed.
I could hear you. It's true.
Maybe could be a cows. And Daddy will say, hear the noise. It will happen. I'm talking. But that's why we should not playing his office.
Yeah, there are better places to play.
I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to do a little bit more work, and then I will come and play with you. Okay?
With Mommy
Yes.
and Daddy
And Daddy.
and Mommy.
And Mummy.
And Daddy and Mommy.
Shall we go and maybe watch Mama and Poppy dig up the potatoes if you don't want to help? It might be very exciting to watch and see how big they are.
Okay, now, what on earth has happened? Right. This is interesting. This is a playground. It's good it's a playground, rather than directly pushing to production, for example. Okay. Okay, so basically we have access to our error, and our error here, I think, is typed. So, and thank you, by the way, all for having some okay, so we have got, at this point, the error, which we've just logged. And I think I could type this rightly as a fetch error from ofetch. Let's try this. Okay, so I think that is resolved, right? Yeah. So I think we should be able to say that. Oh. Okay, so we should be able to access some of these things here, like status code, right? Let's just try that. No, not defined. Object keys. That might not actually work because they're defined with yeah, we've just got name. Let's see, what can we access that will show that this definitely is a we should have the response maybe, or it was a request error. We should have the request. Yeah. Okay. So what else might we want to have? We might want to have the status message. I'm not sure there's a lot more to have because it's just we don't even hit the network. So this is this should be okay. Well, the great thing about that variable name is it is actually a valid variable name, unlike a lot of other things that could have been typed on this keyboard. So that is it's good news, all things considered. Cool. But basically, I think the point is the error is normalized at this point, and we could actually handle it. Let's see. So we probably need to document that. I don't think we can declare at the type level what the type of an error is going to be. And the other ones are not typed. They're typed rightly as error, because that is all we actually know about them. I don't think we can provide any more types. But I'm maybe wrong. Like, if we can, it's a PR to fix it. It's not a big deal. But maybe it's documentation. Type mismatch between fetch error and actual error. I'm not convinced. Anyway, I'm going to keep this list and I'm going to keep looking at it. There are maybe things that actually come to mind as I go, and also as I talk to and ask questions back. But maybe doing it on stream is unfair to the sort of taking it fully seriously. Okay. One more thing. So I've saved that, so it's don't worry, it goes away. One more thing about server components, though. I think we can actually add listeners for it. So at the moment, I don't think it's possible to listen to events from a server component. Let's see if we can. Oh, rats! I deleted stuff. Let's see if we can. If I can show what I'm wanting to fix. So in a playground, again, we have our server component, and maybe we want to do something like @click, handle click. Handle click, and I want to log the event like this. Thank you for that. So Alex Lichter is actually looking at this already because someone commented. So we are totally going to do that. But thank you for mentioning it. Let's see, experimental component islands. Okay, and we have got we'll create that test me again. And we'll just drop in a component, and we're going to drop in a button, and it's just going to say hi, because it doesn't really matter. The point is I want to be able to listen to the click event, and I don't think I can at the moment. Let's try this. This is the HMR issue that we need also to fix. Okay, so click and nothing. Right, so we're not actually able to directly listen to click events for the server component. And I think that's even true. What if I do native? That's even true. Okay, so what I need therefore to be able to do in Next Island is bind the listeners to the static v node here. I wonder if that's possible to do. Bind them maybe to here. Can I pass listeners? Let's pull context dot listeners. Have I got listeners? Does not exist. No, what do I have? Attributes, maybe? How do I access listeners? I know I got emit. Let's just see what attributes I get in here when I pass a listener in. Yeah, nothing, right? How do I expose listeners? Feels strange. Guess I'm returning an array of nodes, an array of a single fragment. Because I should be able to listen right here. I should be able to do on click clickd. Or maybe not. Maybe with a pure static vnode I can't. Let's just see. Can I listen here? I wonder if this is a limitation just imposed by the fact that it's a static vnode. But that would be surprised. I would be surprised if... This is the reviving. This is what we do. We just call create static vnode. which basically enables a vnode to be created with just some HTML in it. We don't revive them any more than this. There's no reviving that happens. But this component exists on this Nuxt Island component is fully, doesn't need, this is the component that handles every single server component. It's the same component, but with different props. So the prop of the name of the server component. And it basically handles, creating that and sort of, everything there. So the weird thing is we can do this, and this will work fine. So we'll call this source, and we'll basically just print both, and we'll basically say handle click sort of component like that, and here we'll say this is the parent. So like this will get the click on the parent, but it's not getting the click on this test me component. And I think, and I guess the point is not even getting it here. Like it's not, even if we pass listener into this h tag, it's not working. Now, if I let's see if I create a new one, div on click ID high, and it's got to have a something. So I've just added another thing, and I think that's not working either. Maybe I'm not meant to pass on click into here. Let's just quick h. No, that's right. That is how listeners are passed. So y is, oh yeah, quite right. Thank you. I was getting very, very confused there. Okay, so yes, you can pass the onClick sort of directly in. That makes sense. That is exactly what we were expecting. But what I'm also hoping that we could do that with a static vnode. And I think the answer is we just can't do that with a static vnode. Like it just doesn't work with static vnodes in Vue. So that's my current feeling. Now, even this create vnode doesn't seem to work. Like if I pull it out, pop it there, also doesn't work. What if I do this? What if I made it not create vnode but h? Nope. I think it's the fact that it's let's just create a div with another child. And what happens if I click that? No, that doesn't work either. So I can't just pass onClick to, maybe it's the fragment. I can't add a click handler on a fragment. That, I guess, does make sense. Now, there must be a reason why we directly, I guess we can't create a click handler on a fragment. This whole thing, that's a shame, because it feels like this would be a very useful feature to be able to have. The reason is you would want to be able to handle clicks of links within static HTML, and I do this on my website. So I have a server component, which is this is a server component, and when I click it, it needs to open a page. So it needs to be able to handle that link click, and it does. But I have to listen to the wrapper, not the server component itself, which is just a little bit of a gotcha. Okay, maybe this is going to be a simpler thing to do then. What we can also handle is lazy server components. So let's quickly again demo this. So, and I'm going to need to probably be wrapping up soon, but we have if we have a page here which has one server component, and then we have another page which has a different server component. And our server component, mainly is just going to have a delay. So await, promise, resolve, set timeout, resolve, like 2 seconds. So it's a long server component, and it's going to render val is math random, just so we can see the difference. And that's going to be here. Okay. And so basically what we want is drop our, I guess we can keep our clicks, that doesn't matter. So if we have our page, this is again the HMR issue we need to jolly well fix. And we're going to add a little link to another page. So next link to home, and then next link back to index, to about. So we have got so we've got the page, and we can go to about, and it pauses for 2 seconds, and then it resolves. So we want to be. No, it's a good question, Heb. I think that's something we should investigate. I think that would be fine. I think it might actually work. So we should look into that. In fact, no reason we can't do it at the same time. So if we tried something like const custom fragment, define component, and it's going to take it's going to have a render function, say, and it is going to receive or maybe setup is what we want, setup function. And we have our props, and we have our slots, and we have our attributes, and we could try basically we want to return slots default, I guess. So return slots default that, and we could do this maybe. Is that going to work? Oh, sorry, we have to return the function. Non-function value encounter for default slot. Oh, because we have to provide that. But we need to pass the key as well. Do we? And what we would then do is let's try on click is that's the issue, right? That like you can't pass the click handler here because what are you listening to? It's you don't know what it's rendering. So like I guess you could do something. We happen to know it's going to return a vnode, so we could try something like this. Let's try just on click directly. Yeah, I think the point is that we just can't attach click handlers to static HTML is the thing. So let's undo all this. Okay, so back we are to lazy. So we have test.me has got some props. So if we say define props, test is a string, right? And then we're going to put it here. Okay, so now we should have type support for that here. So we can now provide test and it's a string. I want to pass lazy, like that needs to be what I want to pass. And in my Nuxt island, I want to basically not fetch the component. If it's or not, so if process client and props lazy, and then else. Okay, so let's try this. So if it has lazy as a prop, props. Hello, nice to see you. Then we're going to want to just fetch the component without awaiting it. Let's try that, because this also might break. It might do bad things for us. Okay, so on the server we reload and then we transfer. It is waiting, still waiting. Back. Oh no, we haven't passed lazy. Let's try it again. Okay, so we're going to pass lazy. And on the home as well, okay. So home. And then it doesn't update, but it does transition. So it is acting lazily, but I think the point is that it's not updating the HTML because it's not keyed to the value. And it's not saying that it should update itself. So what we want to do, where's our key? What's the key value? That is actually fine, I think. Oh. Thank you. Let's try this one more time. So, transition. Oh, it is blocking now. It only blocks once. And it should, it's not refetching. That's the issue, because it thinks it's already fetched. That's the problem. Okay. So, console log props. Okay. What we want is lazy. We want to define, right. The issue is it's not normalizing the lazy as a prop. So what we're doing is for island components, we generate an import for them, which is like this. And so I think what we want to do here is say lazy type boolean, and we'll just use props lazy directly. And in server component, we will pass the attributes, but we will also, oh no, we don't need to change that. We'll just pass lazy as props.lazy. And we'll make that a proper prop. Okay, I think that will work a little bit better now. Thank you. I'm having a great day. And it's Dank Mono, by the way, if that's what you're wondering about. It's a nice font, I think. Okay, so we've loaded the page. Now I should be able to click this and immediately go to home. Yeah, and then it should load. Yeah, okay. So that's what we want. That's basically, we are now supporting lazy server components. That will just, yeah, okay, that'll be nice. I think we can just simplify this to Boolean. And yeah, all good. What I have been working on, the initial thing is now a PR. So and that was the with changelogin, which is specifically support for using --edge to publish an edge release for a given package. Yeah, great. And I think probably Puya is having a look at that now. Given the fact that there are some edits, but there's no direct changes. Okay, so lazy server components, oops, we should be able to create a PR for that in Nuxt. And rerun the flaky job in CI there. And here we should be able to, oh, nice work, Eganor. Okay, we're going to request Julian, who is server component expert. We might also want to display a fallback. So if there is some kind of fallback slot, then that might be when a server. I was desperately affected by that thing. I basically couldn't click into anybody's comment or read replies or anything. It was bad, but it seems to be largely resolved for me today. I don't know if that's the case for others or if it's if it was just me that seems to be back. Okay. Twitter. Yeah, good. It's I think, you know, for me, I love Twitter because it's sort of it's where you hear from other people what they're working on and see cool things that they're doing. And the whole idea of having something that is solidly, you know, basically unusable, it's just terrible. It's really terrible. Yeah. If only the people would come to somewhere like Elk, or Mastodon, that would be the best situation. Because, you know, the thing that keeps me on Twitter is the people. It's not the platform. It's not the infrastructure of the thing, which I feel is increasingly on dodgy ground. It's not the interface of the app, although it's obviously nice. The thing that keeps me there is the fact that is where the people that I'm interested in are tweeting. So come, everyone, come to Mastodon, and goodness me, Twitter on Vercel, that would be I think it would be a nightmare. Can you imagine? I think poor Vercel, it would take them to the ground. They would just be, as in Twitter wouldn't pay their bills. It would be a big problem. There are some good places on Mastodon. If you're looking for recommendations, let me think. There's a great Hackydome. Have you tried Hackydome? Hackydome.io. See if they are accepting signups, because the admin there is fantastic. I think pretty solid. Okay, I am going to call it a day. I have had a lot of fun. I hope other folk have too. We've built some stuff. We fixed some bugs. Not all done. There'll be more to do, but yeah, it's been good. I know it is honestly pretty. It's not great. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I mean, honestly, you know how to sort of tantalize me. Like, this would be great. That's very kind of you. So I am thinking who it might be that we could go and jump into. If folk are up for it, then I think we can go raid. Let's see, the Daxer again. Dax is nice and needs to make something for Nuxt. So we can just keep on reminding him, Nuxt, SST, Nuxt. That would be good. But anyway, thank you all for a great stream, and see you later.